everyone, just finished up the stream team. Figured I would come over here and chat for a minute. Think I've made up my mind. I'm gonna make another big purchase, another equipment purchase. So no dead air. I know, man. Lee, I haven't talked to him today. I did talk to Spanky last night after the stream. He's doing all right. He just has been doing a bunch of repairs on his house there. They had some rotten floors they had to take care of. So yeah, they had that. You know, we're going into a holiday weekend, so it's going to be a interesting. I'll finally get out there and get in some of my colonies, maybe pull some honey. We'll see. I figured out that I'm just going to bite the bullet, guys. I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to buy something. I'm probably going to order it tomorrow, so it'll probably ship next week and it'll probably be at my house sometime next week. And I'll be happy to share that with you, what I'm going to get. See if I can find a video. I think it's there is a video of it on YouTube, so I will share that with you. Let me get through the ad station and then pause it so I can show you what it is. It's probably going to cost me about $4,000, best I can tell, after shipping and everything. So let me pause this video and then I'll present it. No, I can't. Not for $4,000. If I could get a cow in for $4,000, it would be done. But so let's see if I can share the screen. If anybody wants to jump in, please hit the link. Come on in. This is what I'm looking at, guys. I'll make it big so everybody can see. I think I'm going to buy this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy it. Unless something happens between now and then. Let me. Hey, there's Jeremy.
We're going to show you how fast this thing runs.
You doing all right? I saw you was fishing.
Yes, sir.
So I think I'm going to buy this machine.
Turn it on.
I'm going to order it.
It's got vibrating knives that are heated.
The steam, the Lyson manual steam uncapper. I'm just having way too much wax in my extractor, which is bottlenecking my whole system, even though I have an uncapping tank. The uncapper that I'm currently using is a, well, I do have a tabletop steam uncapper, which I'm going to try to use as well. So I'll get I'll have another bottling tank. Or not a bottling tank, another uncapping tank. So I could probably, if I take the tabletop uncapper off it, I can put 40 frames over there, and then this will hold 30 with the uncapped. So I can have 70 frames ready to go. So while I'm spinning 30, I can
and that right there
uncap another 30, you know, in the meanwhile. So
is a box of
it's just a real short video, but I've watched several videos on it. And there's
super
a little
fast,
bit of
super
tweaking
easy
based on the frames that you're going to
and it didn't sling a bunch of honey everywhere like the chain cappers, which
so
is one
I may
of the things
be
I like.
selling my
tabletop
steam
hope you guys enjoyed the video.
$500
like and subscribe
now. So here, let me stop that share screen, remove that, stop screen there.
Loud.
Huh?
It was kind of, didn't hear you. That.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. You could hear you. It's just that video was pretty loud.
The funny thing is, I had my YouTube muted. I didn't think you could hear the sound at all, but I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But that's probably going to be my next purchase, because I don't have, my porch is not wired. Porch/honey house is not wired for 220. And if I went up, the next step up is shoot, I think it's about another $5,000 to add a motor onto the other side. And you know, if that's all the cranking I have to do is to move the frames through, it seems like it's much faster with the steam the steam blades vibrating and cutting the comb off.
So I was given something to try out. It's kind of homemade, and I actually have it in the truck. I could run and get it, but it's kind of big and bulky. And what it is it's a motor with a serrated blade that has it's a heated blade. So you just plug it into 120, it heats up, and it just has a motor that makes the blade go across.
Right.
And it just has a rail where you just kind of stick your frame through. A guy's letting me borrow it. He says some guy made it years back. He's never used it, but I have it in the truck. You just mount it onto a table, and I don't know how good it is. I don't know if your comb has to be extra fat, but it gets the heated serrated knife, and it has a motor that just makes it go back and forth, and you just literally regulate the temperature, go down, up.
I've got a tabletop steam uncapper right now, and I've used it one time. I don't dislike it, and I actually watched the video again and found out I was doing it wrong. So I was doing it wrong. So it might be a wasted $4,000 buying the other thing. But I don't know if you've seen those tabletop uncappers. If you have an uncapping tank, basically it's got a V, right, of heated steam blades, and then you slide the frame over it, and you flip the frame over and slide the other side. It worked pretty well the first time, but you have to have thick comb the way I was doing it. If I did it the way it was shown in the video, I could see how it would be better than the way I had the frame flipped backwards. Instead of having the dog ears away from me, like it showed in the video, I had them towards me. So, I try to add one piece of equipment a year, and that way it's not such a big hit all at one time. So I think I'm going to buy that piece. That'll be my piece this year. And, I might be selling the steam uncapper that I have, the tabletop one. If somebody's got an unbottling tank, oh my gosh, I did it again. Uncapping tank that it'll fit on, it would be pretty, pretty useful. I just think I'm going to upgrade what I've got, because that's my bottleneck right now, is after I extract the honey, is actually separating the wax cappings from my honey, because the strainer on the 5-gallon bucket just plugs up so quick. So Gamber ships pretty quick, Todd. They ship out like next day, usually. We do have this holiday weekend coming up, so I don't know what it's going to be like for them, but they're pretty quick. So if you're ordering bottles from them, they don't waste no time. They get it out to you. That's where I've been buying my bottles for the last few years, since Charlie told me about them. These plastic 1-pound squeezes for roughly, what did we say, 30-something cents a piece, 33 cents a piece. And then the lids, you buy them in 1,700 box. So you can go through several boxes of bottles before you go through a box of caps. 35 cents. That's what you got. 35 cents. Yeah. I bought mine a few months ago, and that's probably about what it was. 30-something cents. And then I think all in, you're probably in about, for both. So yeah, I mean, shipping, that's going to be the suspect thing, but the shipping is what kind of is the great equalizer on that. But it has worked really well for me. Let me see if I can find that tabletop uncapper, so somebody might be interested in it.
I was just going to show these really quick. I finally got my grass into the incubator.
Nice.
So I know you're talking about the long weekend, and I got a lot planned. So I was just bringing them out really quick, and then I'm going to throw them right back in. But
how many did you get? How many did you get to take?
So I only picked out 15. I tried to graft 35, but I used the cells, that plastic cell bar, and about 7 of them didn't stay attached and they just fell.
Right. And then they were.
Yeah, this morning. So I actually ordered the wooden bar and everything because I have different goals. My first goal this year was to get to 100 colonies. Well, now my new goal is just to make more splits after this harvest and then requeen everything. Because I don't know if you've seen my videos, but my West Texas bees are very aggressive.
Right.
You know, really partially Africanized, some people say, but they're pretty
They're
bad.
a little spicy. They're muy caliente. Caliente. But the man, I was trying to find the tabletop steam uncapper on here. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's the license video on it. Let me so this is the exact uncapper I have currently. Let me share that. Oh, I probably shared my sound too, so it's probably blasting your eardrums right now, right?
No, right now we don't hear anything this time.
Okay, good.
Uncapping device
now
that
you
can
probably
be
hear
used
it, right?
in addition to the
Blowing you
uncapping
out.
table.
What if I turn it down? Can you still hear it?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. So this is the setup I have right now, and you see how they have the dog ears are right to the to this frame right here. I was doing them the other way. I was putting the dog ears towards me, so that could be a big issue. And I just run that back to that steam hose. I run it back to the steamer, so any water that comes off is just getting recycled. Right. And then you slide the frame, you flip it over, and slide the other side, and it uncaps them. I wasn't doing mine that way. I had the dog ears towards me, so the narrow.
Well, I don't know if I cut out or you did. Is the stream still going for anybody? I'm trying to look at the chat to see if anybody's still on or if it's just Bob that froze or what. Okay, so I guess I'm still on here. I could talk for a little bit while he try to figures out what's going on. I know he's hosting the stream, but just trying to jump on these a little bit more, trying to get more interactive with people. I'm in West Texas, and it's a lot different out here where bees are a lot more aggressive. We have a lot more dearth time. We have a lot of feisty bees. The temperature, not really a winter here. But let's see if Bob's going to jump back on here. Wildwoods, we see you. I like watching your videos, man. Keep it up. Starting to get to know more of these people as we see all these chats here. Trying to watch everybody's little videos, and it's interesting to see everybody. I do have some news coming up where I may actually have to sell my stuff to move back to Alabama, Georgia area. I was in Georgia beekeeping, Alabama border. We moved back last year, so trying to get my bees a lot calmer so I could sell before I have to move back, since Alabama, you can't bring bees back on comb. But we got a lot planned for this weekend. I'm just trying to make small talk while we're seeing what Bob is doing.
It was me. It was not you.
Keep it talking to myself until.
Yeah, you can't even see the chat, can you?
I can. Well, I have to push a button. I'm on my phone, so I have to
okay.
Go back and forth and see how it's all going.
I was thinking, I wish I was a fabricator, because, they have these gravity clarifiers, right? So why don't they just build that right into the uncapping tank? So as you're uncapping, that honey's coming off, right? It's draining down into the baffle system. So when it drops, it's by the time you open the gate on the other side, it's clarified coming out the other end. But no, they want to sell you 5 different pieces of equipment to do that. if there was a way to even put different trays in underneath the tray system they got in there, it would probably work a lot better.
Now, have you seen that thing Hilco has, that little bottling tank thing that has the separator inside of it?
Yeah, but that might work for what I need. My issue now is just the cappings plug everything up, right? If I don't use the tabletop uncapper and I use like a roller or something, then you get all the little bits that plug the strainer up when you use the extractor. And that's kind of, what I have going on right there right now. So I was thinking about getting a clarifier, but then I'm like, well, if I get the clarifier, that sits low on the ground, then you have to pump it up back to your bottling tank. So then you got to buy a pump, right? So the pump is $1,000 or something stupid. And so I'm trying to not really do a workaround for that, but I don't think I produce enough honey to have enough honey at one time to make the cappings stop at the top of the baffles and let the honey flow over right now. So maybe that's next year's purchase. I don't know, but
how many strainers do you have? Do you just have one set, or you run?
Well, I have 2 sets of the metal strainers, and I've got 2 sets of the plastic ones that sit in the buckets. And
I usually just run a spoon every once in a while to keep it going, kind of
scrape it out of the way. I've also got, as far as the chickens, people were asking questions. My chickens got wiped out today, except for a third one. I did find a third one, which was not in there when I went and did the inspection of the colony of the bees. So there is 3 in there. So I've got 3 chicks that aren't old enough to lay yet. So I've got this weekend, I'm going to try to repair the coop and probably use some better hardware cloth than the just chicken wire on there, at least around the bottom, to stabilize that. And then who knows, maybe I go back and get some more chicks and put them in there. But my wife's tired of feeding the wildlife around here with chicks. So am I. They've killed everything. Last year, the reason I got chicks this year was because they wiped them out last year, right? My ducks all got gone, and they were slowly disappearing. So I put up some trail cams, and those trail cams were showing coyotes like 10 feet from my back doors. And I saw one of the coyotes got hit by a car on the road in front of the house. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was letting them just kind of walk around the yard and then go back in at night. So I said, well, I'll just close them up and that'll solve that problem. So, well, surprise, come back this morning and I've got dead chickens laying everywhere and just 3 chicks left that must have stayed or ran back up in the coop and just stayed in there. And so, yeah, I don't know what got them. Probably a dog or coyote or fox or something, but just killed them. Really, there's only one that is missing in action somewhere. So I don't know if they drug it off and just killed everything else or just killed them and left them. They didn't even, if it was a possum or something like that, they'll usually eat the head or something like that off them, but they didn't do that. They just killed them and then left.
Yeah. So, before I got into beekeeping, I used to be a big trapper. So I used to do all that stuff beforehand.
And, yeah, so here the rule is if they're on your property, you don't need a permit or anything to kill a coyote. Of course, they have great smell, right? They can smell and hear really well. So it's hard to be out there all night and wait on them to come up to pop them. But who knows? Where they were, I could shoot them from my kitchen window. It'd be loud in the house, but I could pop the window up and snipe them for sure out of the kitchen. But it's just, I guess it's one of those things. Maybe I'm just not meant to have chickens. Hey, if I knock that down, I've got so much more room for bees to go out there, right? We knock that down, just put some stands up. But so, everything is kind of in flux right now with that. But I felt if I buy that uncapper, that could alleviate a lot of my capping problems, because I'm gonna have big sheets instead of the little flakes that come off when you roll and pick it and everything else. So
when you harvest, how many? What are your numbers right now? Like, how many production colonies do you have?
Well, when I came out of spring, I only had 7, or into spring, I had 17. Right now, I'm sitting at 59 colonies. Okay. Now, not all of them are going to make honey for me this year. Or my goal was, if I could average 1 box for every colony that I had, 1 medium super, then I would, I would do better than I did last year, right? So last year I pulled about 550 pounds. So far this year, I've pulled 100 and probably 30, 40 pounds, because I haven't finished bottling it all up, but I did 48 pints, which is 70. I'm sorry, I did 50 pints, which is 75 pounds, and 35 1-pounders, but I still have a bunch in my bottling tank, so I can probably get another 30 pounds out of there, maybe.
And do you harvest this year for fall or anything?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out.
Do you harvest for fall or anything like that? Do you have
in the past, I hadn't. What I typically would do is whatever they made off the goldenrod in the fall, I would leave on them until the spring. And then as we came into spring, because we have mild temperatures, kind of like you're warmer than me, but we still have mild temperatures. So I would let them keep it. And then in the spring, like February, I would start pulling out the excess honey and extracting it. And that way they had room in the brood box to expand, right? They weren't plugged out with pollen and honey and everything. But this year I might take the Canadian approach of pulling all the honey and then slapping the feed on them and filling them back up with feed. And that way I can harvest more,
That's the way to. Real quick, at the Hell Hives, I'm in San Angelo, Texas. They asked where how far west Texas. I'm not too far west, but consider West Texas. But no, I do single brood management, and in the fall I get cotton honey out here, and then I have to feed like crazy. But I could feed liquid, sugar syrup to December. I mean, December, January. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I just keep. I mean, that's how I am too. I'll put out open feed, and if they can fly and get it and take it, good. And if they don't, well, they didn't need it, type of deal. But they fly all the time here, so I don't have problems with them being able to do cleansing flights or anything like that. So if they're out flying and looking for it, they're burning resources out of the colony. So I felt like if I had open feed out for them, that they could at least keep that going for themselves in there and feel like they're doing something, instead of just flying around looking for nothing and then coming home and eating all the resources. So so that's what I've been. Let me see. San Angelo is kind of the edge of civilization and desert. That's what Russell said.
Yeah, that is definitely correct.
But so yeah, that's kind of the goal. And we'll see. I showed my wife the video of the uncapper. She said, "Don't you have something like that already?" And I was like, "Yeah, kinda."
Right.
I said, "It's on sale." She said,
right.
And then she goes, "It's your money, do whatever," and then walks out. Right. So I might have to take a couple lumps for doing it, but
yeah, I may harvest Sunday and Monday. I looked at some colonies yesterday, and they had capped honey. I got to check my other yards. If not, I might wait another week. But mesquite honey out here is pretty much in the flow right now, so I hope to get 600 or 700 pounds, maybe this weekend, maybe the weekend after, and then see from there. And then hopefully 1,000 pounds of cotton honey this fall with some more colonies. I only have about 12 honey production colonies right now. So,
well, I've got, so with mine, I don't have a lot of drawn comb. So I've been pulling, they'll fill that drawn comb up quicker. So I'm pulling the drawn comb, spinning it out and giving it back to them. But I'm also keeping empty supers on that. So while I have them off, hopefully that entices them to start drawing if I don't get to them in time. And but trying to maximize what I can get with what I've got, that's kind of, I think all of us are at that stage, right? Always trying to maximize the amount that you can get out of what equipment and frames and everything you've got to use.
Yeah. My bees have drawn out probably, I started feeding, heavily in February. So I have about 50 deeps that they've drawn out this spring so far. So that's helped out a lot. I mean, and then since I run single brood chamber, when I harvest, I rip everything off and give them a brand new box of empty foundations. They're going to be jam packed, and they'll in a week, they'll have that drawn out as well. Hey, Todd, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Jeremy?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, question.
Sure.
So when you were showing that first video, the volume when it was up on our side, but you said you were going to sell something.
Yeah, so that was the second uncapper that I was showing. I'm thinking about selling my tabletop uncapper. If you didn't see that, no, I never have any help out there. Who knows? Maybe one day somebody will say, you know what? I'm going to help Bob. I don't have the Bruce's bees. 37 people just show up to help me harvest honey for free labor. I don't get that. I wish I did, but I don't. Hating on that a little bit. Bruce, I know you were here earlier, so congratulations. Good for you, being able to use that whole, what do you call it? What's it, Tom Sawyer, where he, everybody's giving him like apples and brass door knockers and stuff to help him paint the fence. I don't get that, but this is the, maybe it won't, I won't share my audio on this, so you guys won't get your ears blasted, but I always forget to share it when I'm trying to share the video. So it's a Lyson. It runs on a Wagner steamer, like that you can buy at Lowe's or something like that, for like $75. But I'll make it big for a second so everybody can see. So basically you just slide it across it like that. And he's doing it backwards too. See, I was doing it like he's doing it, not like the video showed to do it from Lyson, but you just slice it right across the steam blades and they're adjustable. And I was like, oh, that'll be great. I'll buy that. And yeah, it looks great on there, but I was doing it backwards. And the problem was that it seemed like you had to have really fat comb to do it.
Yeah.
And his comb doesn't look that, incredibly fat, but, so I used it one time and then I just set it off in the floor and I started using the roller, to get the uncapping. But what I found when I used the roller, that I get all the little bits of wax that kind of, that pop it up. That thing brand new right now is like $493 from Better Bee. So, so yeah, I just decided that I was going to try to get that, not try to, I'm just got to call them. That's it. Call them tomorrow and be like, hey, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. But, go ahead and just send that to me. And, they've got that uncapper for, $34.95 right now. And it's probably going to cost $400 or $500 to ship it. So around $4,000. I've got my tax number on file with them, so I don't typically have to pay taxes on it, sales tax. So we're gonna, I don't know, we're gonna go ahead and just bite that bullet.
Bite the bullet. Yeah.
I hate it. I've been really trying my best not to buy anything this year because I'm trying to let my honey catch up to the money that I've already spent.
It's sort of like late night in Vegas on a blackjack table, and you've had enough to drink, and you're like, and you just all in.
Just go in and
push the chips over, and
I start looking, and this is maybe I look at it stupidly. I don't know. You guys pull me back from the edge if you feel to, but I started looking at the heated uncapping knives and the heated uncapping planes. If I bought one of each, that's $400. they're $200 a piece. So that's $400, and I'm still having to cut every single frame. And now if I had 3-4 hives, not a problem. That's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? But when you start pulling hundreds of frames,
yeah,
all of a sudden you're there all day just cutting comb. So, even doing, if I do 40 frames fills up my extractor and leaves me 10 extra frames to do after I've spun one out. So, don't know, might even buy it and have a crappy honey harvest and not even get any, I'll be kicking myself in the pants, but I'd like to have things before I need them. Right. So if I've got 59 colonies right now, well, hopefully if they're barely producing honey this year, or if I don't get the full box, I'm going to still pull those frames out of that box. I might get 5 frames. So out of 2 colonies, I might get a whole box. So, right now, some of my colonies have 3-4 supers on them. Some of them have 1 super on them, if they're brand new colonies. So I guess the thing is, to answer the question on how many supers or frames I plan to pull, I mean, I'm hoping if I get 1 box per colony, that's at least like close to 600 frames, right? So that's $6,000 worth of honey. No, I'm sorry. That's if I get 1,000 pounds, that's $10,000 worth of honey, right? So $10,000 worth of honey. Well, I've just paid myself back for that equipment. So it's always, you got to put the money out in hopes that you'll get it back. And I've put out a shit ton of money on stuff. I mean, woo. Man, hopefully my wife didn't hear that, because she doesn't really know, what it is. But eventually the tax man will say, well, you made this much money. And I say, yep, but look at all this equipment I bought for tax deductions. So there is that way to look at it as well. So I think I'm just going to pull the trigger on it. And when I keep looking at the minimum extraction line, right, which is the whole deal from license, and it's $34,000. I just paid $33,000 for a brand new Bronco. So it's like, put that into perspective, right? And you don't have 84-month financing on that. It's like, you just drop it, boom, and it's done. It's like, why not set the old one back up and give it another shot, readjusted? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option. But if it doesn't work, and I still have it, right? I still have that uncapping tank and the thing. So who knows, man? I just feel like if I've 5x'd my colonies this year, then I need to be ready to accommodate it. Otherwise, I'm gonna, like James. James has a 13 frame extractor and 128 colonies. We did the math calculation on that. Okay, so 128 colonies. If you just pull 1 box, which we know in Canada they're going to get way more than 1 box of honey, but if you just pull 1 box, I mean, hell, that's 1,280 frames. So now 1,280 frames divided by 13, that's like 100 cycles of his machine. Let's say 100 cycles of the machine. If he only gets 1 box at 15 minutes a piece,
time
that's 1,500 minutes, right? So 1,500 minutes divided by 60.
That's 25 hours.
25 hours of just spinning the machine, not including the uncapping and everything, right? So Andy works a full-time job. So it's like, where do you fit that in? How do you make
which
that
one's
work?
full-time?
Yeah, right. So it very quickly will have my sister owns a tax business, guys. So don't tell the IRS I don't pay taxes. well, I'll say I pay the minimum taxes that I can get away with. Hence the reason why I keep a job of some fashion. It's not so much for the income of the job. It's more for I have that tax getting paid in, right? And then I just start deducting off of it. And if I pay a little bit, okay, I paid a little bit. But if I don't, great. So, and this year I got plenty. I mean, plenty as far as deductions. I mean, I got the swarm lure that I just started up. So I had all that expense, the online stuff. I've got all that expense, you know. So expenses are not the issue. And don't mess with me because I'll go out there and slap stickers on the side of the brand new Bronco, and that'll be a tax deduction too. Advertising, you know. Well,
that reminds me, I still need to order Honey Wrestler, excuse me, and some pins from you. I was saying that last week. I was on vacation and I got busy on vacation.
Well, let me explain to you about these pins while I got them here right next to me. You know, I keep everything right here.
And I have the Costco pins, but everybody's going the other way. How many
of these I've sold this year? That's a shit ton of queen marking right there. And I bought 50 sets, sold them all through Amazon and the website. So I bought another 50 sets, sold all of them. And then I ordered 75 sets. So and I've been selling them down, not as quick because, you know, I've sold 100 sets already, but I am the only person on Amazon that sells these pens.
Oh, wow.
The queen marking set. So if you're looking for competitive advantage queen marking sets, if you're buying them on Amazon, you're buying them from me. That's the only one. But
I'm going through your website.
I make more money through the website. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I don't have to pay Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. I don't have to pay Jeff Bezos anything for it. So, you know, and if you look at the amount of Apis biologics that I have, all of that stuff you see the black packages over there, that's all Apis biologics. So it's, it's just my inventory has increased as well as, you know, starting to get into it. So things are going in the right direction, I feel. Of course, I say that I have sold 0 on Amazon again today because it's not swarm season as much, or people have bought it already, you know. So I understand. So once I put the Honey Rustler on there, which right now the only place you can get it is on my site, and next year it'll be different, I think, because Texas Bee Supply, you know, they picked up my swarm lure, and they bought 100 bottles, I think, at the beginning of the year. Then they called me back and ordered another 250 bottles. So if the name starts getting out there more and people are catching swarms and posting videos on YouTube, which they are, and everything's going good, that it's just gonna start growing. I feel. Yeah. I hope it works that way, you know.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah, and then I'll be having to quit my job because I don't have time to bottle up. You know, I've got you would have been amazed when
Except for the taxes. That's a good thing.
Todd, when I first started the swarm lure, I was using a turkey baster to fill the bottles, right? And then I bought the little bottling line that I have. It's on this room's a mess, guys. I'm just telling you right now. But that little bottling line, I can do about 200. Well, I'll say just by myself, if I had the radio going, I can do 100 bottles an hour easy on it. And, but I haven't started doing that with the Honey Rustler. Wow, why are those doing that? I need to look at that. These are starting to, I need to look at that. I might need to go with a different bottle.
Uh-oh.
But they're starting, and that might just be because they're packed in the box. But these I did by hand. So if I start doing that through the bottling machine, it would be faster as well. So it's just a lot of work. And then you try to put live streams and filming YouTube videos and bottling. And, you know, half of me, when I have a bad day on my day job, it makes me sit back and say, am I losing money by not being able to contact bee supply stores about my products as compared to clocking in every day at a job? Because in my job, I'm in sales, so I get paid commission. If I don't sell anything that day, I don't make anything. So it's like trying to figure all that out, and when James was down here, he says, man, I think you got too many bees for your yard. And I don't know what that number is, right? Because I've got fields, I've got trees, I've got everything around me. But when I drive down the road, I look and I'm like, man, I don't see anything for them to forage, yet they're bringing in pollen, and then there's tons of bees coming in. So if they're not bringing pollen in, they're probably bringing nectar in. I just don't know what it is that they're getting it off of right now. So I don't know if I've got too many here in this yard. I've got all of my colonies are right here in this yard. So it's getting to the point to where I start needing to find that next piece of property to put them on. But then now you got the addition of time and having to drive to the other yard, right? So that's just right now I can't hardly walk outside and work my own colonies with my day job, because by the time I get home, they're already, foragers have come back and they're pissy if you get in them, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's why I'm glad we have a long weekend this weekend. I'm gonna try to pull some more honey, and I'm probably not. I don't wait till it's fully capped. I'll go out there, and if they started capping it, I'll give it a shake test. If anything comes out of it, it goes back in the box. Yep. If it stays in there, it goes in a separate box, and it goes in the honey house and gets extracted out, so I can put that comb back on them, And
that's right. Fractometer is not that expensive.
I've got one.
Yeah,
I've got one. Yeah, I usually if it's not shaken out, if it won't come out, it's usually around 16.5% here. Is what I mean, over the 5 years, that's what it's been. I've never had any real high moisture honey. So I've been blessed in that aspect. Let me see.
Hey, let me run something by you guys. Came up with something weird last week. So Friday I was out there and I went up to a hive that I don't have any, take no offense, please, Jeremy. I have good bees. Okay. So here I am. I crack open this lid and I just started hearing them roar. And I thought, oh, great, queenless. Well, I tipped back the top box and there were 2 or 3 frames that had about 8 or 9 queen cells on it. And I started digging through there and they got nastier and nastier. I mean, really bad. So I said, screw this. And I put them back together and walked away. That was Friday. Saturday morning, I get out there early in the morning and I'm there for maybe 10 minutes. And I did a video of this short on YouTube. I hear a swarm starting up and I look around like, who is this? And it was that box, and they are just flying out. They're spilling out the front. They're coming out the top because I use bucket feeders and the plugs. I have the holes in my lid. It's hot, so I cover most of the hole in the lid with a brick, but they're coming out of there. And I just said, good riddance, go find a tree. I could care less. Right. I go back the next day and I look at the front entrance. They're calm. They're really content. There were some bees that were poking their heads up out of that little the hole in the lid. So I started rubbing my hand or running my hand across it to get a reaction. Didn't get a reaction. So that's weird. Cracked open the lid. They were quiet and calm. I tipped up the top box. I looked down there. Obviously the cells are still there, but they're not even agitated. So my question is this, and I've never run across a colony the day before it splits, or swarms, But are they really pissy that day if you bother them? Because they know that queen is at flying weight, and maybe, they're thinking someone's going to try to get her.
Right.
I don't know.
Do you have any other creatures that might be agitating them, like skunks or something like that?
No. There's a lizard here and there, but actually, I haven't seen lizards yet.
Oh,
I know they're out there,
everywhere.
but yeah, I've never run across that.
And did they swarm and then come right back? Like,
No.
Did they swarm out and come back?
They swarmed and took off. And what I was going to do was I was going to come back later on this week after work and knock down all the cells and put one of mine in there, and then let them raise that queen. But they got really calm in 24 hours, and I was like, "What in the hell is going on?" So,
hold on, I'm watching a little bit of slide chat. Gray? Who doesn't answer questions? We try to if we see them. How much land do you need to start a farm for honey? Not much. I mean, I'm on 3/4. I think it's just more about how much forage they have around you. I mean, Brian puts them up in people's backyards, right, in the city. So,
yeah, mine are too aggressive. It just depends. But I got 7 different yards, but some yards only have 4 colonies. Some have 12. Some have 8. I mean, it all just depends. But
I've
got,
like I said, I have 59 right here. However, I'm wooded all the way around.
Yeah.
Except, the main road, and then there's houses across, and, typically they don't take care of their lawns over there. So I have plenty of forage over there and the trees. And I'm a couple miles from the military base, the wooded side of the military base. So they've got plenty of, they had more forage because we had some farmer fields, but the farmers started selling out the land developers. So they're starting to throw up houses. So
something, Larimore Farms, I know you asked earlier, cotton honey is my favorite honey out here. Very clear, very light and rich. And, but I know y'all are kind of stationary, but in the fall, I do move 90% of my bees to cotton fields that are irrigated. It's so hot here and dry. Most of the farmers are going to get insurance claims because their dry land cotton doesn't take. So I have to find an actual cotton farmer with irrigated land. But cotton here in West Texas, it's amazing, but it's just like mesquite honey. It'll crystallize within 6 weeks, and you'll have crystallized honey like crazy. So some people let them have that for the winter, but I still, as much as I can, and just liquefy it back again and then sell it.
That's another thing I need to do. I need to build a
heating cabinet.
A heating cabinet, yeah. Or I've got my niece has an old non-functioning refrigerator that I'm probably going to grab from her and go ahead and convert it. Just put a light in it and let it heat up. And
you put it in 5-gallon buckets. Put it in the back of that brand new Bronco.
And just
Summer day.
Solar heating.
Yeah, it'll be ready in hours.
So yeah, I've done that before. I've taken like jars and just set them in my truck and let them sit in there, and then throw them in the back when it's time to sell them.
Yeah.
But it's that's the thing here. Around me is mostly like cornfields now, and corn doesn't do anything for the bees. I mean, from what I gather, they'll pull some pollen off of it, but it's not even very nutritious for them.
Yeah.
So, and if I start throwing pollen patties on, then I got hive beetles like crazy. So I just if I do pollen, I just do basically a ice cream scoop size on there and let them knock it out quick and be done with it. And if I see any larvae in it, I just scoop it out and throw it in the woods and get done with it, And at 140 in the car, is that considered heat treated? Well, the thing is, it's 140 in there, but by the time that it warms the bottle up, and then the center of the honey, it's probably not 140 in the liquid itself. So,
you can leave it in there at 140. You just have to take it out faster,
right?
Before the honey gets to 140.
Yeah, and I don't know that it would. I mean,
I don't think so.
you've been in a hot car. It's hot and uncomfortable, but you haven't heated up to 140 in it.
Oh, out here. It's just outside, just ambient air.
Yeah, let me see.
It was cold here this morning. It was 90 something yesterday. It was only 82 today, I think, and it was 57 this morning when I walked
Yeah, it was in
outside.
the 50s here when we walked outside this morning too. So it's like that's unusual, very unusual for here this time of year. So I'm really curious what's that going to do to the honey flow, right? Because is that delaying some of the stuff that normally would come out in the hotter temperatures, or is it actually? I've seen some people have flowers that bloom like twice, right? If it's mild and then gets cold and then gets warm again. So it could have a positive effect. We're not getting that typical brown out of grass and everything yet. So so maybe we don't have the dearth we had, typically every year. So
yeah, last year, the mesquite, I don't know if you know about mesquite. It's pretty much an area, but it could bloom multiple times. And last year, it was pretty much like a month-long honey flow. Came fast and hard. It bloomed 3 times, kind of back to back. This year, where I'm located, it kind of has stages. I actually took pictures today. The same mesquite brush or trees, it's more of a brush. You've got blooms that already bloomed out, are pretty much done for. And on that same branch, you'll have some that are in the prime bloom. And then in same branch as well, you've got some that will probably bloom next week. And the good thing about that is it's kind of a slow, steady flow. But these, 10 minutes west of me, they're already producing beans, which is, they're already producing. And here in town, they just started blooming. North of town, they're already halfway bloomed. East, 15 miles east of town, they're barely starting. So it's kind of a longer, slower, steady flow. But that's good for me because last year I didn't have drawn comb either. It was my first year back in Texas, so I had to start from scratch. As they were drawing, they were filling up with nectar and getting honey bound. So this year's been more of a slow, steady, been able to draw out comb and then fill up. So it all just depends on what you got and when it's blooming. Our we've actually been getting some rain out here, which is rare, pretty different as well. So
we've got, to give you an example, tonight is supposed to get down to 55 here.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow, high of 78, low of 60. Friday, 72 and 55 again. And then the weekend, of course, long weekend, it's going to rain Saturday, rain Sunday, 55 and 58 for the lows. So that is unusual. Usually you can walk out here in the middle of this time of year and it'll be 75 degrees outside, overnight. And that's not the case now. So it's, I don't know. We're going to see what it's going to do for the flow. The extra rain, it's rained every weekend for the last month. So maybe the extra rain will help us out in the long run with stuff staying greener longer. And the cooler temperatures are helping us stay green longer. So hopefully that doesn't actually hinder the flow, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be my luck is, hey, Bob, you just dropped $4,000 on a new uncapper. How'd it go? I'll tell you next year, because this year we didn't make anything, which is why I haven't committed to that guy down at the store that wants my honey in it. It's because I don't know how much honey I'm going to produce. I can't commit to filling up shelves that I don't know if I'm going to have the honey to fill them. And then I'm stuck in paying rent every month for shelf space that has nothing in it,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the great dilemma that is, But if this was last year and it was hot as hell, I'd be bitching that we haven't had no rain, and you know what I'm saying, right? We haven't had no rain. I don't know if I'm going to get any honey flows. So it's just, every year is a new adventure, I guess. But if we didn't have. Very few farmers that I know will actually say, oh, yeah, everything's perfect. It's going great. If it's too hot, well, it's too hot. We're having a drought. We're not going to get what we needed. And if it's too rainy, well, it's too rainy. We're not going to produce what we need because I got too much water. You know, it's never just right. So
Yeah.
just by the
I'm already doing that over here. I want it to rain again.
Well, you know, the just if you play the rules of numbers, right? So if I have 5 times as many colonies, if I produce half as much honey that I did per hive last year, I'll still have more honey than I did last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the what I'm shooting for, right?
Right.
And at the beginning of the year, I really didn't care about the honey. It was all about resetting the apiary and growing, and was able to do that really quickly. And now it's like, oh, we could make some honey. So let's see. Now it's put it into full gear, and let's see how much we can produce, you know, and move forward and just try to keep strong, healthy colonies and strong splits, and you know, make it happen if we can.
Right.
Are you going to start grafting in a couple weeks?
I've already grafted myself this year and replaced all my splits have my own queens in them.
Yeah.
And I kind of brought it up the other night with James, because James has been mentoring me this year. And even though I'm 5 years in, I just got to that point to where I kept doing the same things every year, and I was getting the same results. And I was just to the point to where, what the hell? Why am I going into winter with a minimum of 25 colonies, and then I'm coming out and I've got 15, 17 colonies every single year, 12 colonies, 50, you know, it's just like, what am I doing wrong? What is wrong? Yeah. And he's like, well, how old are your queens? I'm like, shit, I don't know. I bought the nuke last year. It should have been last year's queen, but you know, it did really good last year, and then it dwindled down over winter, and basically it was nothing at the end of it. So he's like, well, you know, you have to mark those queens, if anything, just so you know how old they are, you know. And I didn't. I wasn't marking anything since year one. I didn't mark anything because I decapitated a queen. I had a queen fly off. You know, I'm like, man, screw this. I'm not killing my queens just so I can see them better, you know. And then this year we just took a different approach to make strong splits so they grow fast, and mark them so you know how old they are. And that's, knock on wood, so far it's going as planned. Again, my goal, I had a lot of extra boxes, a lot of extra equipment that wasn't being used. And instead of buying more boxes, and I did buy a few, but was fill up what you got. You know, it doesn't make sense to go buy more equipment if you haven't filled up the equipment you already have, right?
Yeah.
So I've tried to really rein myself in when it comes to just spending needlessly on equipment that, you know, typically the first year I ran out of equipment, and then I was running to buy it, paint it, put it together, all that stuff so I could use it. And then last year, I bought more stuff than I needed with the idea of growing into it, and it never happened, right? So now I have 2-year-old equipment. This is second year, first time being used. So that's not cost effective either, right? Because now it's had a year extra wear of not just sitting out in the weather. So
cover it up. We're moving indoors.
Really, I'm about to cut out. Sorry, guys. I'm about to go to bed here in a little bit, but I just want to jump on really quick and say hi to everybody again, and hopefully
we appreciate it.
Talk more. So
check out Jeremy's channel. Is it Queen V's, or is it have a separate name?
V's Honey. It's got a little bit of stuff, a few removals, and showing some of my aggressive bees. But I really don't try to make it fancy videos or anything. It's just off my phone until it overheats, and then that's all you.
Bob froze again.
He did. But hey, Todd, good talking to you, Bob.
Oh, there he is. Nice.
My internet, I got to replace that modem in there, and I've been lazy about it. So, all right, Jeremy, have a good one.
All right, thank you.
See you, Jeremy.
But I didn't, I wasn't planning to come on for a long time tonight. It's just that I saw them end They actually went a little bit later than they normally go.
Mhm.
And, I was thinking about the chain uncapper, and then people were saying how it tears up the comb a lot.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe we give this other one a try and get it dialed in. But see, I've got plastic frames, I've got wooden frames, I've got deep frames. So all that requires adjusting of the machine every time you switch a frame. So it'll be more of a concerted effort to keep all my wooden frames in one box. And that way I can, I'm doing plastic frames. So now I can do my plastic frames. And now I'm doing wooden frames, mediums. Okay, now I'm doing deep frames. So I can just keep adjusting, as it goes. But yeah, I've pretty much come to the conclusion I'm going to order that tomorrow. And
that'd be cool.
Yeah, nothing excites me about spending $4,000, but
hey, but if you can make 10 back,
yeah, I wish they would sell just the machine, because I have it on the tank. If they would just sell that piece separate, then I would just buy that piece and put it on my existing tank. But yeah, do they? No, of course not. You gotta spend an extra couple grand everything you buy.
They have that in mind when they engineer it.
Well, again, why don't they make the uncapping tank? Why not in the bottom of the uncapping tank? Why don't they just build in the baffles? So now when you uncap, it's a clarifier too. So by the
all
time
in one.
But no, that would cost them money.
Yeah.
It'd
cheat them out of another sale of a different product.
Yeah, you have to rent a warehouse to have a honey house, So if I ever, James is good with stainless and stuff like that. So I tried to call him earlier. I was going to say, hey man, when you do your line, why not create it to where you uncap, and then as you uncap, it catches in those trays the big particles, and then the honey drips down and runs through a baffle system back to the honey gate. So when you pump your honey out, it's already clarified.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me. And he could probably sell 1 million of them things, because it wouldn't cost that much. You're just adding some baffles in the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. It simplifies things, but
that's not how the companies think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Although I would give it to Lyson, because their ideas seem to be a little more intriguing than the manufacturers that we have. I can't think offhand of the examples I was thinking about when I thought of this, I don't know, a year ago, but they're innovative. And it seems like that the other companies are not, like Maxim.
Well, and I mean, if you get I think that Minima line would be perfect for my size operation, even a little bit bigger than what I run, But if I were to get that same thing in a Cowan or something like that, a Thorn, man, it would cost me 2-3 times what the Lyson cost me. So I'm sold on Lyson. Like my extractor, could I bolt it down to the ground and would it be better? Yep. But I don't know that I want to drill into my patio, I don't know. It might happen. But I mean, you're just looking at, 3 studs to come up through the concrete there.
Yeah.
Probably be pretty easy.
Awesome. Just tell your wife it's just 3 little holes. That's it.
Oh,
I won't do anything else.
Yeah. Until I have to move it 6 feet over, because I have to get a clarifier that I have to slide under there, that now I have to use a pump to pump out. And so yeah, there's always something. But yeah, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that I'm going to go ahead and buy that one piece. And hey, you guys will see if it works or it doesn't work right here, and we'll learn together. Otherwise, it'll go on marketplace for sale, I guess. I don't know.
And it's not like you can't resell it. You could resell it. So,
Yeah, see, Michael says he's at 35 hives and time's not his problem, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a 1K, 10K, or 100K honey house? Right now, I've probably spent upwards, if you include everything, I'm probably plus 40K. And you don't think about it as you're doing it, but if you start adding up the boxes and the frames and the extractor and the uncapping tanks and the bottling tank and the bottling valve and everything else, honey almost won't pay for that, right? Because now, okay, so I'm at 59. What do I do in the spring? I have to split? Yep. Or I have to sell nukes. And if I sell nukes, well, then I got to buy queens to go in those nukes because I can't make the queens early enough for the nukes. So, oh, by the way, you got to have nuke boxes for them to go in that are $20 a piece, right?
Yeah.
So it's always something. So Tapcons. So the Tapcons will do it. They'll go right into the concrete, but are they big enough? I think it's like I don't know, probably a 1/2 or 3/4 stud that's got to come out. Are those the ones that you drill the hole, then you hit them down in it and they expand in?
I've never heard of those. I don't know.
So I know there's my honey house is nothing special. My honey house was a screened-in porch that was built in 1960. And when the screen was all torn up. So what I did is I just wrapped it, enclosed it, right? Put 2 new doors on the sides of it. And I still need to do the electrical in there. So I'm running everything off extension cords, from my pump house. And so it's nothing special, but it does the job. And, it does the job for sure. So. No, you can get them in 5/8 and they screw into the hole in the concrete. Okay, so I would just mark the extractor where the hole is and go ahead and drill or mark it, drill it, then put the Tapcons in and bolt it down. Okay, I'll have to look at that. It's only 3 holes. I mean, I've got the stuff to do it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what my honey limit is because I've sold out every year, every bit of honey. I mean, when I started, I was having to supplement. I was having to buy honey. Last year, I made 550 pounds and sold 610 pounds. I had to buy 1 bucket from somebody to surplus it. So, so that's that's kind of, this year. Hopefully I won't have to buy any, which, that goes to the bottom line right away. So, so we're working on trying to get things up in the right direction. I just, so just
well, listen, Bob, I'm going to jump off of here. I didn't want to jump on for too long, but,
well, I appreciate you stopping in. I'm,
sorry about the mess this morning.
The chickens.
That sucks.
Yeah, so that'll be another thing I'm fixing this weekend, right? Repairing the bottom board on there, putting new hasps on the door to keep it closed, and just
put an electric fence around it.
Shoring it up. I'll probably have fried chickens that way.
No, put a separate one around the outside of it. See what happens.
And
it'll light up something, I'm sure.
And try to get it, get that fixed so I can put some. I don't know if I can even buy chicks anymore unless I get them online. But the chicks that I've got are only probably 8 weeks old. And that's all I got now. I don't have any grown chickens anymore. They got, and they were broody. So I know they tried to put up a fight to save the chicks, right? Before they got wiped out, but it is what it is. I got a half a day on Friday and then we're off on Monday. So gonna try to get this order in. So maybe next week, maybe they ship it on Friday, and because of the long weekend, it gets here like Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I got to call Gamber tomorrow and see
what the shipping is going to be.
Because, hey, you know what? One thing before I go, what do you do for labels?
What did I do in the past is I I just got, and I just ordered more of them. I talked myself after spending $4,000. I talked myself into just buying, talked myself into just buying the, matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly
You
what.
like go to data and buy the blank ones and just write it in?
No, I buy them off. I buy Avery labels from Amazon. Don't go to Staples because they're going to stab you in the eye every time you go and buy them there. I buy them from Amazon. I just bought, I think, 6 packs of them. They're $11.19 for 80 labels.
Do you do the labels or the rolls?
I do the sheets of labels.
The sheets, okay.
And I print them out on my printer, right? So you can go, you go to the Avery website and you put the label number in. And on these, I can show them to you. I just bought them, literally just bought them. All right, so let's present, share screen, Amazon, share, add to stream. These are the ones that I buy.
Oh, all right.
And I print them long ways like this. The ones that I buy are 2 inches wide by 3 1/3 inches long.
Okay.
They're 14 cents a label. So by the time I print them out, I don't know, whatever the ink comes out to, you know, and you just design your label over on Avery and print them out on your printer. You'll download a PDF once you design them, and you just print them out. And I usually do a half, you know, I'll do half of them as the front label and half of them as the nutrition label. Done. And it's pretty quick doing it that way. But what I want to do is I want to just create them because you can get them. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can buy them in the 1,000 for like 19 cents a piece, already professionally printed, that come on their individual sheets like this, which is a pain in the ass, but they're nice professional quality. From uprinting.com. That's where I get all my labels for my honey rustler and all that. And you do the same thing. Doesn't cost you anything to set up the artwork. You just make the artwork on the label that you pick, and good to go.
Hail High says, look at Print Runner.
Print Runner.
Buying bulk. I haven't heard of them.
I haven't heard of them either, but if they're cheaper, they might get all my business.
It's like 5 cents each.
Print Runner.
Huh.
Custom sticker printing, product label printing. Okay. Maybe that's
too.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of them before. That's a good thing. So I'll look at that. And and you can buy all kinds of stuff on there. Labels, shop now. Let's see. It looks like they got all different size roll labels, sheet labels. Let's see. Sheet labels available in 4 preset sizes. Best shape, basic shapes. Yeah, I'm a basic shape kind of guy. Shape rectangle. Oh, it doesn't let me change. High gloss. There we go.
4 cents. Sir.
Let me see. 70. What's got me at $2.90 a piece? Is that a sheet?
How many's on a sheet?
Custom shapes. Let's see. I don't sheet size 4 by 6, 8.5 by 11. That's
kind of big.
Well, that's
not the page, not the sticker or the label.
Shape custom. Upload my artwork. I'll have to look at that because if I can get them cheap.
He said a good price breaks at 1,000 or 2,000.
I think if I buy these for my bottles, I think for 2,000 they cost me $174 for 2,000 labels. And it's $174, but if you keep the same design, you're going to be using them for quite a while.
Well, it's almost 9 cents. That's still not bad. But if you could get it down to 5 cents, that's almost half.
Yeah, it's I'll look at that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look at bubble mailers. I'll be looking at everything. Here, 6.5 by 9. That's about what
You'll
I'm
be awake all night.
100. That's high for that. They're charging $2.17 a piece for those bubble mailers, but they have your logo on them. So I'm just buying bulk ones in the 100 and 200 at a time. So no nectar flow. Need to show video on wax Kool-Aid. I mixed 3 to 1 today to show nectar flow is slow. I don't have any feed out at all. They're just what they get when they bring it in right now. That's what they're getting. And that way I don't have any problems with any adulteration or anything this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
unless they hit the hummingbird feeders.
What's that?
Unless they hit the hummingbird feeders.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd probably get a call. Your bees are all over my hummingbird. We'll take them down. I can't control. I mean, 59 colonies. How many bees do you think I have in this yard? You know,
they'll find it, but I don't think there's a lot of. I mean, in my area, they don't really have the feeders up too much yet.
Let's see.
And I pray that they put red dye in it so I know what it is, because you can see it in the comb. They won't touch it. They'll put it in there, dehydrate it, seal it, cap it, whatever. They won't touch it.
How do they know you're? Well, by the brands I put on them, obviously. I brand every bee. They got collars on them, so they know they're pets.
GPS.
Yeah, GPS. I got little antennas off of them. For sure. Anyway, guys, it's about 10 minutes to midnight here. I'm going to go ahead and call it for this evening. Thanks for stopping in. You know, one day I'll put out that great content like the stream team and get a bunch of super chats while I'm chatting all the time. You know, I for the love of God, I don't understand that, but it works out, you know, whatever. I'm glad for him.
Yep.
But, yeah, Charlie, I talked to Charlie today. One more thing before we go. I talked to Charlie. They're harvesting hay right now. So he said he may or may not be on Friday night, depending if they get done with their hay harvest or not.
Oh, wow.
So if not, hey, guess what? You could probably rest assured we'll be live here. So one way or another, we'll get our no life beekeeping chats in and be able to chat. And you'll know if I actually did order this piece of equipment or not. All right,
you can
guys.
tell by the holes in the cement in your patio, right?
Right. I haven't. I need to, because I very rarely can I get my extractor balanced. You know, it's difficult. Even with, you figure 30 frames, it'd be spread out enough, but no, you still get a wobble in there. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to call it for this evening. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you, Bob.
And